All right, guys. So we have Michal here. He's a real estate agent from BC. So if you could introduce yourself, Michal, your brokerage, how long you've been in real estate and all of that.
Michal Gook. I work with England Invokers in the Okanagan here, and I service generally most of the Okanagan area. I've been in the business for 10 plus years, and it takes a long lot to stay in the business for this long, and I've used a lot of different marketing programs, so, over my years to keep me alive.
For sure. I know you said you were in corporate sales and then you moved into real estate agent, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I was in corporate
What?
sales for 25 plus years, so I didn't have that entrepreneur mentality, but I did have the work ethic to remain, to know that I could do well, right? Because it's really about rapport and clients and happiness.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask you, like, what do you think about, like, you've been in corporate sales. What do you think about like real estate sales and everything? Like, how is it different? Like in terms of marketing and sales, I would say.
I think real estate versus corporate sales, like within corporate sales, you have that ominous, January, February, like, am I gonna have a job still? Did I do enough to keep my job? Whereas in real estate, there's an everyday, like, are you doing enough to stay in this business? Are you talking to enough people? Because the more people you're talking to, the more you're better off, right? Period. Like, I mean, in corporate sales, yeah, you got to talk to a lot of people, but it's specific to a one sort of thing. Whereas within real estate, you get to have a lot of more fun and meet lots of different people and, and like work for different people, really, right? Because your employer is the next listing or the next buyer,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, and I mean, it's like you said, it's real estate is really like a business, and it's almost entrepreneurship at the end of the day, being a real estate agent. Um, and
Yeah, for sure it is. There's no ifs, ands, or but about it. You are running your own independent business. And, one of my old mentors, sort of sales coaches, Ben Osterfeld, he'd always be like, do you have a plan to do this? Like, if you don't plan, you plan, fail to plan, that whole sort of statement. You have to have goals, period, right? So, yeah.
yeah, and do you mainly work like referrals? How did you kind of generate your business, would you say, beforehand? Was it
So
mainly?
when I first started in real estate, I worked with a team who had leads, and so my team leader would always be looking at me to make sure that I was doing with the leads. I didn't always get the best leads, that's for damn sure. I know that because some would sneak to me, and I'd be like, "Ooh, this is a juicy lead," right? So there is and so now that I've been on my own for as long as I have, the leads just come to me, and it's my job to work them.
Mhm.
And so effort equals reward. It is a constant sort of like making sure you're doing the right things for the people that are asking you questions and also for yourself because your mental capacity is always being tested and how you react to situations is really, really important. So I think that having that sort of like, little zen space that you can have out for real estate is really important. So, you know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then in terms of like, I know, real estate agents, they have multiple different methods of marketing, right? They could do referrals, they could do referrals, not really marketing method, but they could do referrals, billboards and all of that, newspapers, all these different methods. What do you think about online marketing? Just your opinion on online marketing itself, or any other form of marketing as well.
I think if you're not in doing some sort of online marketing or of that sort, you're not available. Like really, like the world works off of more online than anything in this world. I find, even for myself, I find almost everything online that I would ever want. And, I'm old school a little bit. because I like to read the newspaper or the flyers that come to my door.
For
It's
sure.
it's just an old thing or old school thing that I love to see what's out there. But it's funny because we were complaining about the fact we weren't getting Canadian Tire magazines the other day, and so then I went online to see what was available on the flyer online. So that was interesting, and we found a couple of things that we were interested in. But but yeah, I think, online marketing, online leads is like really truly it's the way to be out there. I mean, there's lots of different ways to go about it, but like how much effort do you personally want to take and put into creating those leads? There are people that know it and do it better, and that is for sure because I am not that person. And yeah, it's kind of been that way. I've used many different providers, and it is an effort equals reward, and you have to balance it out.
And I like the thing of effort equals reward because sometimes a lot of the stigma around online leads and I'm pretty sure you probably have this face also with the fact that there's sometimes that quality and all of that and you have to go through many people to kind of get that that lead you could say. What do you kind of think about that in terms of like having online marketing and people saying about like you have to go through many leads to get to that one person? What do you kind of think about that in online marketing?
Let's say you meet 10 people a day. You hand out your card 10 different people. No different, right? Like it's the exact same situation. Not maybe none of those 10 are going to call you, right? You door knock 50 houses, not a single person answers the door. The person that does is angry. So no different than online leads. It's just taking less time on your behalf, right? To have someone else doing it. So just that's a scale of economy, right? Right? The more people you're in front of, the better off you are, right? So if you saw 100 people a day, maybe you would get one lead, right? Or two people. It's a combination, right? So, I mean, you have your online process, you have your in-person process, and it all comes together, right? Like, it's like anytime I'm out and about, it's like my first thing is I'm a realtor. I'm going to disclose that I am a realtor. So, because not everyone says they're a realtor when they're a realtor.
Yeah.
Why be a private agent? You should
Yeah,
be a public agent, right?
for sure, for
Like
sure.
I was out with people on Saturday night, we're talking this, that, and then, the whole conversation comes up because people love to talk about real estate.
For
What?
sure.
What? You're a realtor? What do you think of the market? The whole situation goes out of hand sometimes, and then, there's the angry people who, may, but I like to hear the stories of where good things have happened. And I also like to hear the things where bad things have happened because that that you can change their lives by making the experience better. So that's all you can do is try. And if you're
Mhm.
not trying and not, then you know what I mean? So, and I handed out my card. I don't know if they're going to call me or whatever. And I know cards are passe, but older people still like cards,
Yeah.
right? And told me they used to work with this other agent, and they're like, but this is us and it's our deal, and we'd prefer to keep it to like maybe somebody like you. And I
Hmm.
was like, okay, cool, whatever. You're gonna call me, right? So maybe I'll see them at the next event and go, hey, where are you guys at?
Yeah, for
Right?
sure.
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean
but
that's called like building a database, right? And you need a database of people. And I think a lot of agents try to do referrals on their beginning of their career, which is great because you do need some capital in the beginning. I usually, and you can say if you agree with me. Usually, when I think about real estate, it's kind of like even with my own business, right? We do when in the very beginning we did outbound. We actually found you through outbound methods, right? You never opted into
yeah,
ads.
you're like
Well,
I forget what it was. It was unique. There was something unique that was different than most other people because I still get calls every day. Hey, what are you doing for leads and blah, blah, blah. And for whatever it was, there was something that was unique about you guys that was different than the rest. And I was like, okay, well, maybe at this moment I'm going to take this leap of faith. And it was in early in the year too, because that was really important to me. Because if you had reached me in October, November, maybe not, because I would already had a successful year for whatever reason, right? Or maybe I didn't, and I needed that sort of restart to the year, right? So,
For sure.
and yeah, and it was a good call, good conversation, and we moved forward from there,
For
right?
sure.
So,
And so going back to it, and in the very beginning, I think relying on referrals is very good because you need to build capital, right? For yourself so that you can, but then don't get stuck in that cycle of just relying on referrals. Because that's when, for me, I personally have noticed that when talking to many agents, it's like becomes very inconsistent. Right, you don't know what you're gonna make the next month, and that's where I was like, I always tell agents if you're starting out when you're a new agent, it's like literally focus on referrals first, and if some agent comes into me and they're like, I've been only in the real estate industry for 6 months, I'm like, this is not it for you. Like, do not do this right now, right? Go learn that experience of selling, sales, marketing, all of that, and then come back. And then once you make enough money, then invest into different aspects of marketing and then grow from there. Because let's say then 30 years after, you have such a huge database that then you can rely on just referrals, repeat business being part of it, right? Because you have such a big database.
yeah, I think that that's like a pretty liberal statement personally, because I mean, you don't get repeat business if you don't talk to those clients again.
Exactly, yes.
So I think that, like, yeah, sure, you can have a huge database, but like even with like you reignited my database, and I looked at all the leads that I had that, I've already bought, already sold. Thanks for following up. Yeah, we're already looking with somebody else now. And I'm like, oh, seriously, what in the heck?
Yeah,
It's
that's very
like
important.
that. It was really like that was the biggest eye opener for me. It was like, okay, so what did I have to do? Make a phone call, talk to some people? Like, could have done it, could have been there, but no, obviously something was, more important, which isn't really the answer. So I think, like when we think about a new person, I think the new people really truly need to, like focus on their business and doing as much as they possibly can to get business. Because I've seen agents who are brand new, they do 30 deals in a year, and you're just like, what the hell? How did this person just come along? And they just like rolled because they just had that tenacity and that energy, and people just fed into it. And maybe the market was amazing at the time too. Like, I mean, there's a ton of factors, but I mean, if you're single, it also helps, I think. Because you don't have to make sure that your other half is happy at the same time, right? Because, when you're busy in real estate, sometimes you don't have all that time to do the right things. So,
For
but I
sure.
think that's important too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and going back to like what if there was an agent like that just starting out or going or starting out just online marketing, I would say like what is something that you would kind of tell them even if they're a new agent or someone who's been, here for 20 years in the real estate space but are trying to go into that online marketing, they don't know much about it. What do you kind of would you say to them basically?
Well, I think, like what you don't know is what you don't know, right? Like pretty simple. If you've never done it and you haven't experienced it, then and that there's agents out there, teams and groups, and they're doing hundreds of deals a year, and it's not based on newsprint as much as it like was 30 years ago, 20 years ago. Right now it is online, right? It is referrals. It is the whole gamut. Like when was the last time you talked to that first client, right? Like if you're it it's a business, right? And your cost per lead, your cost per client walking through the front door is like think of it, if you owned a storefront, my name's Michal Gook. I'm a realtor. Come visit my store. What are you doing to entice them? How do I get that customer to come through my door? Right? It's no different online marketing than having a storefront and having to get that customer to come to the door. Like that's what online marketing is. You're trying to get them into your front door
Hmm.
to talk to you. Hey, what's this Michal Gook all about? Like, why is he's selling houses? He's been doing it for 10 years. How's he like he must be decent. He's been around for 10 years, right? And that's generally it, right? A lot of my business comes from previous clients and new clients. So I
Mhm.
know that I require new clients to keep up because if you think about it, 10 people buy a house, three people are going to sell that house within 5 years or more, right? So you got three clients. If you don't talk to those three clients, you got zero clients,
Absolutely.
right? So, what are you doing to retain those clients as clients, right? I mean, not everyone's going to be retainable, but
Mhm.
at the same time, you do your best to make that happen.
For sure. I mean, in terms of like online marketing, also and something that we're I know you're working on it right now is your USP, your unique selling proposition, you would say.
Yeah. It's a,
And
it's a unique one too, for sure. Like in the sense of like, it took me a little while to figure it out.
Mhm.
Like, and it's so I think important. Like, what makes Macau, like, why is he a good agent, right? I think that every single person out there has that sort of thought process, right? Like, I got into real estate. Your why is your number one unique selling proposition. I think the why, right? What's your why?
Exactly. And I think that's very important to, especially in online marketing and even in anything. It's important to put out why. Like, why should they someone work with you? Why do they need
Yeah,
to work with you? Because there's
all the
probably
top
another
agents
another
and
agent.
teams, they got whys. Everyone's got a why, right? So if you don't have a why, like if your why is to make sure that your mortgage gets paid and your wife is happy, that's your why, right?
Exactly.
But if
Exactly.
your why
So
is to buy that Porsche, hey, all good.
for sure. And I think yeah, so I think especially in marketing, like having that why is very important when you're especially advertising it to out to people and learning about you. Like for example, like you said, I've been in the industry for 10 years or XYZ, or I've done this much transaction. These are my case studies, testimonials of actual clients, working in that, worked with you and how you felt about, how they felt about you basically working with you. And I think it's
Yeah.
bringing trust, right? I think that's also something as real estate agents in online marketing that you guys have to kind of do is build trust. Right, because everyone's doing online marketing, right? Everyone's generating leads. So then you have to kind of stand out from it by creating trust and credibility, and I think it helps a lot with the unique selling proposition and everything.
Yeah, trust is like super, super important, I think,
Even
like,
even in all my own business, trust is very important, right? And I think
yeah,
any business
right?
trust is so
Like,
important.
I mean, yeah, because I'm trusting you to make sure that I get what you're selling,
Yeah.
right? Period. Not so much selling, but providing. Really, it's
Mhm.
true. You're providing a service. And real estate, like, they always think of us as like, well, you're getting commission. Well, we're kind of like lawyers in reality. We're getting a service fee for the service that we're providing. It's not truly a commission, in my opinion. It is a service fee because it comes out of the proceeds of the sale, but it's truly a service fee, no different, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the way I look at it. And I hate the fact that our contracts say commission because it truly is a service fee because we are providing a service because we actually get paid GST. Like we have to charge our clients GST, so we are a service.
Hmm.
Period. Right? It's not a commission; it's a service, and
Hmm.
that's our service fee.
For sure.
But the why is really important, and online marketing makes the why easier to be seen.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if we're not out there providing our why, then no one's gonna know.
For sure. For sure.
Right? We're just like, oh, hey, he's a realtor. Like, what, you're gonna go to my like page, maybe visit my website. I hope so, right? But at the same time, there's lots of places that we can all be now. Like, well, how many? Like, there's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X. Uh, there's another one too. Not
TikTok?
TikTok,
Yeah.
yeah. I have not done TikTok yet, but I just think that that's gonna be me. But I do some crazy videos for Instagram and stuff like that. I just did one at 15,000 views. I was pretty excited about that.
For sure.
So,
I
yeah,
mean,
but that's online marketing, period,
it is,
right?
getting as much
Yeah.
attention as possible. right?
Yeah, yeah,
There's an
yeah,
attention economy in terms of online marketing. You have to get as how can I reach the most number of people at any given time? Because that's how you're going to filter out, right? And that's why when we put our first advertisement out, it's not about being so niche down and it's like, okay, how can I get the most amount of people to see my stuff? Because you don't
yeah.
know who
And
people.
it's interesting you think of it that way is like, a question we asked, and it was part of our scripted question back in when I worked in retail. If I can find you the right product at the right price, would you be purchasing today? Like, it's a question that's ingrained in my head 4.5 years of asking that same question. But it's all about right price, or right place at the right time for that client, right? And you don't know who's out there at the right time and
Exactly.
place, right? So
Exactly.
that's really it. They're looking, but if you don't talk to them tomorrow, when they're ready to buy, then you're out.
For sure. I mean, going back to like us and like the company, like what kind of intrigued you into kind of joining us, would you say? Kind of you like, be worth joining our program.
Well, I think, the first part of it was it wasn't basic, right? Like there was like lots of steps. It wasn't just a, hey, I'm going to take your money and I'm going to try and do something for you. It was beyond that sort of thought process. And I honestly felt like, okay, hey, this is pretty solid. Like I liked the coaching side of it weekly. I liked the CRM side of it. I liked all the meeting scheduling. I liked the person reaching out to a person. It was more comprehensive than I expected.
Hmm.
So, and that to me was like, okay, I felt like it was worth my time and effort to explore.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I honestly feel like you guys had my best interest at hand,
For sure.
because that was really, really important. I just felt like that's the way it was. And you haven't let me down. It's been a little while, and that we've been working together. And yeah, I feel like it's not like, hey, I got his money, see you later.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
and I think that if I like where we've been on this for 6, 8 weeks now, and I feel
Yeah.
like I'm not there at this point with like, oh, this was not worth this has been worth my while kind of conversation.
Hmm.
So I feel like even last week, I got a new lead and I talked to the lady, and so working with her, so I look at that and I'm like, okay, every couple of weeks I'm getting a decent quality lead, and I think that's really important.
For sure. I think another element I think you liked about was also having this assistant to kind of call up everything and make sure everything. What did you think about that? Having that actual person do all of that for you in the behind the scene where you're not just
I
talking to
thought that was
100 leads.
fantastic. Like, honestly, and that's where I was like, okay, wait, it's not, like they're just taking my money, throwing some stuff out online and putting that together. Like, not only like that, it's like the first call we had after signing up was about like, okay, let's get you set up correctly. Like, okay, you got to do this, we got to do that. And it was charted, mapped, and slacked, put together, right? So it wasn't just like a wingity wongity thing. It was like, hey, these are the important things to us to make you successful. So let's work on these first before we really start like going down the wrong road,
For sure, for
in the
sure.
sense of like, if you don't do them, then this isn't going to be worth your time, right? Sort of thought process. Like, it was like important for you guys to put this out there, say this is how we do it, and this is important for you to understand this, making it better, right? Like, this is only going to be half of what it is if you don't do what we need you to do,
For
Michael.
sure. For sure.
Yeah.
No, I think that's really important to do your things because I think in online marketing it's not just putting out an ad and calling it a day and generating some leads because it's not going to be as effective, right? Of course you
Right.
can do it, it's not
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah.
effective, Like effectiveness is where the thing, and I think that's where, people say, there's low quality leads, and they're not great, they're not responding to me. And I think having that assistant, at least I thought, because agents, they tend to be really busy and have other things. So if they have family life and everything, and we're like, okay, we don't want to just bombard them with 100 leads every single month. We rather want to just
Yeah,
follow
yeah. Like, I mean, honestly, like, I think that a person at the other end is critical to any business. It is super hard to get good help. And to have that person at the other end is really important to me. And it's like even the leads that I've seen and talked to, it's been really good to see the feedback and even hear the actual conversation that they're having with the lead. That has been like, okay, so this, and this. And then when I talk to the lead, I already have that really good data, like
Mhm.
of what that conversation was that they had with that person, so that I can understand where they are. And then when you guys set up the meeting, when I have the scheduled call, it's the call, and that person's expecting me to call.
Yeah, exactly. And
And
I
like, yeah, go ahead.
And I think one of the most important, I think we talked about in our weekly calls when with the community and everything that we have about how it's so important when we book an appointment, your goal is you have so much data about them, you know what the house they are looking for, what price range they're looking for, they're pre-approved or not, where they're looking for. Your goal is to just have that conversation and then book in another meeting or anything that can move the needle forward.
Yeah, like you're going to set up your search for them, you're going to talk to them, and then you're going to follow up with a couple of days from now, sort of situation, and get a good vibe of where they're at, right? I mean, it's interesting because clients are funny because they can be like really excited and ready to go, and then the next moment they're like, "Oh man, it's so overwhelming." And our job as a realtor is to like go, "Hey, yeah, it is. It's a lot, and but that's like how do you want to move forward, right? Like this is really important to you. I get it. I think as our job to as a realtor is to make sure that the client is moving forward in as well.
hmm What do you think the biggest like sales tip you have to say for agents would be to get them into like, because it is hard because online marketing, because there's this thing of like referrals being like online marketing. It's not like that, right? People think it's as easy to get an online lead and move. Like they expect the same thing to happen as a referral. Like we have seen that before. What do you think is the number one sales tip, would you say, for online marketing people when you get a lead or in person from online marketing? What would you say is a good tip to kind of make sure that, you're not losing the deal?
I think the biggest thing is to understand that online marketing isn't instant. Nothing is like instant unless you're buying toilet paper on a regular basis, like Jesus. It's a weird analogy. I know where it came from, but online marketing is like you have to like even yourself. How long did it take you? Like you want to buy a new car. Okay, how many cars did you look at to get to that new car? Like online marketing, you're going to look at 15 different cars and then you're going to like kind of go through it. And I feel like as the agent, you have to be that person who follows up correctly, does the due diligence, B's B's the is the person who's top of mind when that client's ready to go. And you're also the person who is suggesting certain things and also suggesting what steps that they need to do. Like you're their official person, right? Like you're supposed to be the person who's helping them get to the place. And if you're not doing that job of getting them to their next step, is it like just agreeing to get to go see a house, or is it to go get a listing, or is it to do a consultation on how to stage the house, or
Mm.
what is it that you are to do, right? So I think that that's really, really critical. I think for agents with online marketing, there's patience and there's also persistence, like the two P's, like patience and persistence make a very, very important impact on it, right? So because I have an agent in my office who's been working with online leads for like one person, let's say a few people, like for years, right? And sometimes they just don't pop out right away. But
hmm
like she's like converted and I've converted like off phone calls, right? Like call comes through, hey, how's it going? Yeah. Are you looking to see it? Yeah, okay, you want to see it? Okay, let's go see it. Right? We're gonna go see it. Okay, this day, this time, perfect. Go see them. Okay, are you liking this? Great. Okay, you like this house, but it's not the right one. Okay, what about these other three, right? If you're not
Mhm.
like offering to show more than the one, right? Then you're kind of doing a disservice. You're just doing a pokey pokey. Here's let's have a look at one pokey pokey. I don't know where the hell that came from. But you do more, right? Be more, be the go-to, right? And that's really what it comes down to, I think, for online marketing. You just can't sit back and expect it to just like popcorn, instant eat sort of
For
situation.
sure. I mean,
Got some pretty.
as we kind of wrap up, I think the last question I have for you is like, would you recommend doing online marketing, or would you recommend even working with us? Would you say it so far from what you know? I know we haven't worked that long, but like, would you recommend still working with us, from what you've seen so far in terms of just service and what we were able to do so far?
Yeah, well, why not? Like, I mean, I think right now we've had a good start and everything's rolling really well. I don't have a problem at all. I think you guys got a good system and a good process. I think, it's gonna just get better. Like that's how I feel about it. Right now we're like in our beginning, but I feel like once the other steps are kind of in play and we're like got everything the like right now the engine's just starting to build steam. I feel like we
For
can
sure.
make this engine a bit better.
And I know you had you have two conversation with your two appointment. How many appointments have you had so far? Two appointments?
Four,
Four?
five?
Oh, okay. Uh, and how
I'm
many
just
people did?
like trying to think of it. How many meetings have I had?
Yeah.
In person, one.
Okay.
And then but calls with actual people like about four.
Okay.
So
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
Just I don't
And
have them in front of me right now, but yeah. But
nice,
I
nice.
did take one out for some showings and we've assessed her house. So she's just trying to get to that next mental state for
Mhm.
her to let go. So yeah,
And
but
that was
other than
all
that, yeah, no, it's been good. And I think there's some really good opportunities out there, and I think there's just going to be more and more.
and that was in 8 weeks, would you say? That all of that happened?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
That's
nice.
what I was saying about every couple of weeks, I'm getting like a good solid lead, and I know there's more in my pipeline, and I know that that's going to get worked. Um, so for me, I'm like totally down and ready to roll.
Nice, nice. Well, thank you so much, Michael, for
Yeah.
this interview, and I think it was really good, good insights as well into like real estate and what you should be doing. And thank you for recommending as well. But yeah, other than that, I think that's about it. And thank you, Michael.
Yeah, no, it was fun. No, it was good. You guys have been really good so far, so I'm impressed. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.